Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome everyone to IE 203 Introduction to Industrial Engineering. And today we will talk about the engineering system management as one of the area that we are covering in this course. We said we're going to cover 5 areas: operations engineering, manufacturing systems, human factors and safety, quality and reliability, and engineering systems management. And this is one of the areas in general that we cover in the course, regardless of the scope or the subjects or the methods that covered or come underneath each one of them. The engineering system management carried as the other areas many principles, methods, applications related to either engineering management or systems engineering or the engineering system management. Some they call it systems engineering management, and all these applicable since from the beginning we have talked about the industrial engineering, and if you recall that we talked about the industrial engineering discipline itself, and then we talked about the systems engineering and how is the integration of the industrial engineering and systems engineering together create a big umbrella where it can carry all these functions and disciplines and submajors. In systems engineering or engineering system management, we cover systems engineering, inventory planning, project engineering. This is heavily used in the program. You are going to cover also systems engineering in a separate course. Strategic planning, feasibility study. There is a course for this subject. Assessment and control, risk management, engineering economy, and this is one of the courses you may take it at this level when you are taking this course. Operations management, inventory control, and engineering management. Maybe you hear engineering management, systems engineering, and there is the name engineering system management. Just to don't confuse you, let's just give briefly. The engineering management is a field for engineers or scientists or computer scientists wanting to add management and leadership expertise to their already technical skills or set of technical skills. So you are electrical engineer, you are mechanical, you are even not just engineer, you are a technician, and you want to add the leadership expertise and the management skills into your technical set. So the engineering management lies at the interaction or the intersection between or of the engineering principles to projects or heavy business or administration or finance. So all these activities will be taught and included in this subject. Where on the systems engineering, and we have explained this from the beginning of this course, it's for the overall process and defining, developing, operating, or maintaining, replacing the quality for all the system and the integration between all the systems. So one of them, which is the engineering management, more to the soft skills and the leadership skills, and the systems engineering is more for the integration between processes, between departments, between systems inside complex machines, how the aerodynamic systems works with them, let's say the thermal systems in your manufacturing or into your equipment or machines you are developing, how is the electrical systems work with the mechanical systems in the car. So all that goes in the systems engineering. So the systems and the engineering management, when they are together, you are carrying or covering both of those aspects when you are studying the systems engineering management or engineering systems management. That's why here it's good to emphasize and tell that there are some misleadings for students or people who's planning to take industrial engineering, that it's a business program, but with a flavor of engineering. The engineering systems management, as you can see, it's one of the 5 areas, and each of those 4 areas has also, as we have seen and we will see in the other sessions, includes methods and disciplines and sub measures or techniques that either analytical or needs programming, or it needs mechanical background sometimes, or production background, or some of them a medical background, like in the ergonomics, by knowing the physiology and even the psychology of the human being, how it works and interact with the pressure in the work. So our statistical analysis in the quality as well, linear programming and operations research. So the industrial systems engineering is not just about management. As you can see, the management, it's a branch under the area of the engineering system management. The systems engineering is not about the leadership and the soft skills that you can learn about its management. And beside, the management is not something that related to any discipline individually, because you can see healthcare management and the background need awareness or depth of knowledge in healthcare. You can be engineering management and the background needs some kind of technical engineering, regardless whether industrial or mechanical or whatever was that. So the management itself is not a discipline you just take it. Some they mislead the management related to business schools, and we call it business. Even in the Arabic version بتسمعوها كلية إدارة. المسمى يعني الشائع أكثر هو كلية الأعمال, and you see that in internationally well known the name business schools. ما هي إدارة، ما هي كلية إدارة، لأنه الإدارة بحد ذاتها هي ما هي مرتبطة بالأعمال. الإدارة تحتاج أحيانا يكون عند الشخص knowledge والعلم كافي تقني حتى يقدر يدير منشأة أو منظومة أو عمل تقني. يحتاج يكون عنده دراية وفهم واطلاع وتخصص في المجال الصحي حتى يستطيع إدارة منشأة أو عمل أو منظومة صحية. فالإدارة it's a soft skills we can say it, and is ما هي بالضرورة إنها هي مرتبطة فقط بالأعمال. فلذلك المسمى حتى الشائع ما في شيء اسمه هناك major اسمه إدارة، في كلية أعمال تحتها إدارة موارد بشرية، إدارة معلومات، إدارة نظم معلومات إلى آخره. Just to give you a briefly this, so we remove this dilemma from this course. So some they just join the program thinking that this field it's only about management, but you will see as you maybe saw some of the other areas, it carries more than just management skills. It needs technical background, statistical and math, also programming sometimes if you need to do simulations and optimizations. Okay, so we have talked about the engineering system management in general, the difference between engineering management, systems engineering, some of the methods or techniques or sub areas you are covering in the engineering system management. Today we will pick only the systems analysis and design, the engineering systems analysis and design, as one of the areas that we, or sub areas, we will talk about them today in our session. And the engineering system analysis and design, why it's important? Because installing a system without a proper planning leads to great user dissatisfaction and frequently causes the systems to fall into disuse. So if you have installed a system, or even if you were the one responsible for planning, or you were part of the team in designing the system, it has a proper planning, and also you need to consider all the related stakeholders or divisions. Those they will be working with that system, so all of them, they have to be in the planning process, so you can plan it properly. That's how the system analysis why is important. Also provide structure to the analysis and design of information system. الهيكل للنظام او التصميم حقه you provide it. If you think about a system where is electrical component, mechanical components work, the structure where is all these integrated and simulate the work, how it will be performed between them and between those systems. Even if we are not talking about tangible products, if we are talking about operations and organization, how the systems of marketing and other departments like finance, HR, engineering department, if you have in the organization, how all these systems, they will interact with each other in terms of the information for the process. The structure, the engineering system analysis provide that. Also, a series of processes systematically undertaken to improve a business using computerized information system. A series of processes, you use some software application where you can develop this processes systematically, and you can look at them similar to maybe if you recall or you watch the simulation. But here we look to systems more than process steps. The systems, how they interact in terms of the overall workflow and operations. This is how important is the engineering system analysis and design. The roles of the system analyst, as we said from the previous slide, how it's important. Basically, or mainly, the roles of the system analyst work with people from all the divisions. As we said, he works in the integration, so work with people of all descriptions. To be experienced in working with computers, he has to be able to work with from all the other departments or all other disciplines. So for example, if we are going to design a building or design a car and has different systems integrated, the system analyst, he works with all the divisions, from the mechanical, the electrical, the architect, designer, the material, all of them, so can be aware of the requirements into the final product. Also be experienced with computers, because the computers applications for the system analyst, they need requirements and set of skills to deal with them. The three primary, we can say, roles for the industrial or the system analysis are the consultant, supporting expert, agent of change. And what are those؟ يعني in general خلينا نقول هو الشخص اللي بيعطي الاستشارات في المنظمة، بيحلل الأنظمة يعني بشكل كيف تتفاعل مع بعضها، how they interact, the departments and the divisions or the subsystems together. He do the also examining the input and the information that are going through the process. Also agent of change, and that means he draws the change that will be implemented. what will be the plan to be executed. So the change, how will it will be conducted, he played that role, the system analyst. He needs to be a problem solver, communicator. It's very important. The system analyst cannot be someone work individually and work isolated. He has a good communication skills, because he will work with all other departments and divisions. A problem solver, this is as an engineer, you need to be a problem solver anyway. Strong personnel, almost you have to have leadership skills, professional ethics, because you are going to be seeing all the technical information for the organization, the structure of the organization. So this information, it has to be highly confident, somehow يعني classified. It cannot be conveyed or يعني تنقلها إلى جهة أخرى. Self-disciplined and self-motivated. These are the roles of the system analyst. The system development life cycle، الدورة خلينا نقول الحياة لتطوير النظام أو لتطوير الأنظمة والنظم. Start with identifying the problems, the opportunities, and the objectives for the system, determining human information requirement, and the third step is analyzing systems need, designing recommended systems, developing and documenting software, then testing and maintaining the system. 7, implementing and evaluating the system. After you implemented and evaluated, then adjustment if it's needed, or you go and identify the problem again and you work through the cycle again. So the SDLC, Systems Development Life Cycle, is a phased approach, step by step, systematically, to solve business problems. And when we talk about business problems, I'm not talking about a problem that has يعني simple and small, and one may be objective and it's clearly the solution. Usually when we talk about business problems, it's more complex problems, and it carries, or it's consider more than one factor or one division that related to it. Developed using a specific cycle of analyst and user activities. So the activities for the system analyst, starting from 1 to 7, clearly what is his activity and what is his specific job. We will focus on each one, and we will give what the set of activities and output expected for each one of those steps. So let's proceed with the first activity, or the first step in the SDLC, is identifying problems, opportunities, and objectives. And here, the activities that we are going to consider or work on is interviewing user management to identify problem. تجلس معهم، تسمع منهم الإدارة، الأقسام المرتبطة بالموضوع. Summarizing the knowledge, estimating the scope of the project, document the results. The results here meaning the results of the interviewing and gathering the information, not the results of the solution, يعني obvious. Here, the first step is identifying the problem, the opportunity. It could be improvement. Maybe it doesn't have to be a problem. It could be a chance for improving the current system, or the objectives. The output, feasibility report. You have to listen to them and then provide feasibility report, تقرير جدوى من هذا السيستم، تطويره أو إنشاؤه أو حل المشاكل اللي فيه. Containing problem definition، يحتوي على تعريف للمشكلة، summary للobjectives للأهداف from which management can decide to whether to proceed with the proposed project or no. فهم they have to know clearly what is the objective from the beginning, what's the problem you identified, even the resources needed to solve this project, at least estimated from this beginning or the feasibility report. The second step, determining human information requirements. Again, here you have to do either surveying or interviewing. You have to do sampling, questionnaires اللي هي الأسئلة ولا الاستبيانات. Observe the decision makers behavior and environment. تروح تشوف طبيعة العمل وطبيعة المشكلة يعني بعينك وتلاحظها. Prototyping, sometimes if it's a product design, maybe you do prototyping at this level to see how it's going to look and the people that their expectation that comes to that prototype, so you can then proceed in the other followed steps. Learn the how, what, where, when, how, and why the current system. فهو المقصود بالall WH question here أنه يعني you find all the details related to your current systems. Every small detail will help in the followed steps. The output of this step of determining the human information requirements is to have a complete information about the people, about the goals, about the data, about the procedure involved. Remember, the first step, you just identify problem, objectives, maybe some resources needed or the requirements for proceeding. But here you are going in more details and finding how the system's information flow and how is the data or the material or the steps. You gather and collect now the information in more details from the system. So the third step, after you collect all these information, you start analyzing them. So you start analyze the system and create data flow activity. Now, the first two, it was just a gathering and trying to find where should we head to. And now from here, you start to analyze the structured decision made, how it's made the decision in the system, how the process is being conducted, the sequence, prepare the present and present the system proposal, output recommendation on what if. ايش المقصود ب what if scenarios after you do the analysis of the system. طيب لو عملنا كده، طب لو سوينا، لو غيرنا كده، لو أضفنا كده. This comes in the analyze phase. You are trying to see this recommendation to see how the system will reflect or respond to these scenarios, or what if anything should be done or should be happened. Designing the recommended system, the SDLC, designing the recommended system. After you analyze, you measured, you put the objective, you start to design the system that you agreed on or you recommended, and that has a set of activities: design procedure for the data entry, design the human-computer interface, design system controls, design database, design backup procedures. This is not limited to that. The activities here for any development or design you are going to do at this step, it can come under the activity, starting from the data to the system itself, if you are developing a new one, or the interaction, or how even the risk of the backup procedure, if something happen or accidents, how the system will react to that. When we talk about systems, we are talking about a complete work from divisions, from departments, from components to others. We're not talking about small or onto one small scale or one small objective or one division. The output is model of the actual system. So now you develop the model, developing and documenting software In this, here you start work with the programmers to develop the softwares. If it's needed to start having the codes or having the material needed to develop your system, or establishing the requirement for the divisions. So here you start developing. After you did the model and you did the design, now you start to actually develop it and put it in actual. So the output will be computer program system documentation. So either you put the policy and the procedure for all the processes and the procedures for all the subsystems in the organization, or you develop a program that run or manage the inventory or do the planning or do the integration between the divisions work. زي لما بنقول يعني مثلا we see that in some of the platform, like for example, I'm giving you like Abshir application. It's integrated with many other divisions, like a Ministry of Exterior, a Ministry of Interior, even housing for also now it's also with the health, Ministry of Health, they are integrated to that system. So يعني building a system like that, it needs first from the beginning was a system analyst to understand the requirements and the goals, and then meet with each division, and also meet with the division that also will be responsible or will host this Abshir application. Then when they develop it, it had maybe beta version, so the model to be tested before the launch, and then the system designed and developed. After that, you do the actual testing, which is خلاص, everything is integrated and designed, ready before maybe launch it to the user. You can open it to some of the developer to do the testing and maintaining the system. So testing the information, the system maintenance, also you have to put it into plan and document the plan, how you maintain the system. The output will be problems, if any. So if it happens, so you resolve it that time before you implement it. Update programs, documentation for that needed for the maintenance plan or the troubleshooting also. We come here to the step, or let's say the last step in the life cycle, and then you can continue with the first one again, implementing and evaluating the system. خلاص, you launch the system, it's already working. So you train the users, analyst plans smooth conservation between the divisions and between the stakeholders, review and evaluate system. The output will be trained personnel, installed system. خلاص, already now it's installed and people, they are trained how to work with it and how to maintain it. Then if needs an improvement, needs an problems happen, need to be integrated with other subsystems, you are merging with other divisions and they need to be integrated with your system. So you will start again with step one and follow the same steps in terms of the SDLC implementation. This is one also of the things that the system analyst, systems engineer do. Moving on to a different subject under the engineering system management, on the side where is the leadership, when we talk about the management or engineering management, that was for more the systems engineering. For the engineering management applications or methods, one of the subject that commonly covered in even not just the industrial engineering, in other engineering disciplines, is the project management. Project management, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service or results. إيش معنى الكلام ده؟ هي زي الفترة مؤقتة لإنشاء أو تحقيق أهداف أو لحل مشكلات بغض النظر إيش كان أهداف المشروع. Projects are complex, one-time process. Projects are limited by budget, schedule and resources. عندك يكون وقت وفلوس معينة أو resources. It doesn't have to be money. It could be time. It could be human workers or whatever, material also. But يعني many time you expect the budget is one of the things that for the complex project اللي هي المونey that's spent to solve. Schedule لازم يكون له جدول. We will learn also إن شاء الله يعني some of the tools to do scheduling, but not maybe in this session and others. Project typically has defined start and end date. If you have schedule, then you have to have a start and end date, and so you can plan your project well. Think about a big projects where highways or bridges happened in your city or in the country, or the subway or metro is being those mega project, complex project, they should involve a whole division for project management to follow up with the project milestones and the start for every subtask, because some of those tasks are consequence to others. يعني بعض المهام ما تقدر تبدأ فيها حتى تنتهي أخرى، فأي تأخير فيها will delay all the projects. Resolve a clear goal or set goals. Projects are customer focused, has to know what is the customer requirements at the end before they proceed with the project. What is the difference between process and project? And this is interesting, and I thought to bring this here because some similarities or some differences, and there is a dilemma sometimes between them. The process refers to ongoing. The project is outside the normal process oriented. So it comes in a start and end time, and it stops. And the process, it's ongoing. For the project, you dealing with a new process or product to develop and in your project. And the process, it's a repeated steps you do it, or repeated product you produce it. There you design it, or you solve it, or you establish it, and then it will end the project. One objective usually at the end, even if it's big and has sub goals, but here you have several objectives for the processes. It's ongoing for the process. It's one shot life, limited life, and then it's closed. More heterogeneous. People are homogeneous لأنهم they are working with each other all the time. Here maybe only for the project they work together, but then everyone goes to يعني somewhere else. So the homogeneity comes here in the process because those usually belong to the organization or to the place where it's they are working. Greater uncertainty, great certainty طبعا أكيد لأن process has a يعني clear results, and it's designed and it's operated for time. So يعني you are expected certainty فيها. Here you are planning, projecting, hopefully that you get what you expect. There is no delay or something happen on the way. Upset status quo, support status quo اللي هو support status that the current you are dealing with. Usually the process is not something against what you are currently doing. It's basically what you are doing now. The project, when it says upset, here is just something that you need to refer that is going to interrupt what you are doing, because you are developing something new, or you are solving problems, you are going to do changes at the end. So it's changing الوضع الراهن اللي انت بتسويه. هنا بتكون لا هي بتدعم الوضع الراهن اللي انت شغال عليه في البروسيس. This is the difference between process and projects. Why projects important? طبعا importance of the project are big and many. And when we talk about project, we're not talking about a level of projects that done like course projects or school projects or even small scope projects. When we talk about complex project, it will open to the global market. You can even increase or improve your economy by having a big mega projects. يعني مثلا مشروع قطار اللي هو الأنفاق أو السبوي اللي بيصير مثلا in the capital in Riyadh. هذا will open opportunities, will open jobs, will open that city to global, because will attract people when you provide such transportation system in a big city like that. طبعا along with other projects like going on, for example, examples in Riyadh and the capital, there are many, and any other cities or the big cities that they are developing mega projects. This is when we said why are projects important. Shortened product life cycle. If we are talking about products that you are going to produce, like nuclear plant to provide power to your country, or alternative resource of energy, فيو shorten the product life cycle، فأنت تقدر تبدأ المشروع بشكل أسرع وتطلق المنتج بشكل أفضل وأسرع when you have a project management, and that's why the projects are important. And managing the project well, it's more even important. Increasingly the complex and technical products, by the time when you have a good project management, the good thing that you can increase your technical and complexity of your products, as you can see in the smartphones, how they become more complex by the time when you have a good project plans and you manage them well. Emergence of global markets, you open the doors for the global markets. An economic period marked by low inflation, تقلل من التضخم اللي بيصير عندك. This is when we said we are talking about the mega projects. Project life cycle refers to the stages in a project development and are divided into 4 distinct phases. دورة الحياة للمشروع, similar to what we were talking there about the systems development, here about the project. The project life cycle starts with the conceptualization, then planning, then execution, the last is termination. The conceptualization is initial goals, technical specification of the system or of the project. Stakeholders, مين هم أطراف المشروع المستفيدين من this project, we call them stakeholders, are identified. You have to know who are they and signed on the this phase. فلازم الجميع يتفق في المرحلة الأولى here about the conceptualization. إيش هي الجول، المواصفات التقنية والمواصفات المشروع والحلول المتوقعة، والجميع من مستفيدين المشروع external or internal, they have to agree on that part. This is the first phase. The second phase is the planning, detailed specifications. Now هنا تفاصيل أكثر للschedules, للschemes, للplans developed already here in this phase. بعد ما نكون اتفقنا على الأهداف على المواصفات العامة، هنا more details. Execution, so the actual work of the project is performed here, and that's what it takes the majority of the time. You can see and relate that the man hours here is the peak, the execution time is the one. But as you spend here and you spend a good time here and do it correct, this will make it almost as you plan it and meet the time you planned in the execution phase. The termination, a project is transferred to the customer, resources reassigned, project is closed, people goes, everyone done his work and documenting that work for future reference and يعني تستفيد منه في مستقبله. I hope you enjoyed this session. We will see more technical or خلينا نقول hands-on tools on other session about the engineering system management. Today we just introduced the general engineering system management, what's about, and the methods that comes under the area. We have a talk to discuss today about the engineering systems design or analyst, the role, what is the life cycle of the system design life cycle, and we saw the steps and the output of each of those steps in the cycle. And then we talked about the other side of the engineering system management, which is the engineering management side, not the systems engineering, and we have explained the project management and the difference between project and process until we end up with the project life cycle. We will see more hands-on tools in the next part of engineering system management. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Good